So picture this. You have two of the most famous people on the planet. In one corner, you have Donald Trump, the man who was so good at firing people on TV that America decided to give him a shot at the real thing. Twice. And in the other corner, you have Elon Musk, the guy who wants to put computer chips in our brains and fly us to Mars, probably so we can escape the people with computer chips in their brains. For a while, these two were like the ultimate power couple. It was a bromance for the ages. Musk reportedly dropped a cool $300 million to help Trump's 2024 campaign, and he was a regular voice in the president's ear, whispering sweet nothings about technology, and I assume, the best way to tweet at 3 a.m., they were inseparable. Trump even bought a red Tesla back in March 2025, which for him is like getting a friendship bracelet. This was a partnership that seemed destined to shape America. You had the political power of the White House combined with the technological power of Silicon Valley, or wherever Elon is based this week. It was a match made in a very strange, very rich heaven. Musk wasn't just a donor, he was an advisor, a confidant, a guy who understood the vision. People saw them as two titans, two disruptors who were going to shake up the system together. They were on the same team, fighting the same battles against the same old establishment. But as we all know, even the best reality shows have a dramatic season finale. The love story came to a screeching halt in early June 2025. What could possibly tear such a powerful duo apart? Was it a fight over who has the better hair? A dispute over who gets to press the big red button first? No, it was something far more boring but infinitely more chaotic, a piece of legislation. Trump rolled out his big beautiful bill, a massive piece of domestic policy. He was probably very proud of it. But Elon Musk, his supposed ally, took one look at it and basically said, "This is garbage." He called it a disgusting abomination. Ouch, that's not just disagreeing, that's like telling your friend their new baby is ugly. Suddenly, the bromance was over. The friendship bracelets were off. Musk, who had just left his advisory role in late May, wasn't just whispering in Trump's ear anymore. He was shouting from the rooftops for everyone to hear. This wasn't a quiet disagreement behind closed doors. This was a public, messy, and very entertaining breakup. The man who helped put Trump in office was now leading the charge to tear down his signature policy. It was a classic betrayal story, played out for the entire world on social media. The stage was set for a battle of epic proportions, pitting two massive egos against each other in a fight where the only winner would be the people who sell popcorn. Once the first shot was fired, Elon Musk decided to go all in. It was like he had been holding all of this in, and the dam just broke. On June 5th, he didn't just criticize the bill, he went straight for the jugular. First, he hit Trump where it hurts the most, his ego. Musk claimed that Trump would have lost the 2024 election without his help. That is a bold statement. It's like being the drummer in a band and telling the lead singer that you write all the hits. It's a sure way to start a fight. Not stopping there, he then threw his support behind calls for Trump's impeachment. Yes, impeachment. This is the guy who was his advisor just a few weeks earlier. But wait, there's more, because this is Elon Musk, and subtle is not in his vocabulary. He then dropped a bombshell accusation, claiming, with no evidence I should add, that the real reason the Epstein files haven't been fully released is because Trump's name is in them. Whoa, that is not just throwing shade, that is launching a nuclear shadow. It's a move that takes a political disagreement and turns it into a personal vendetta. To top it all off, he started digging up old quotes from Trump and other Republicans about government spending, trying to show everyone that they were being hypocrites. Musk wasn't just fighting, he was trying to burn the whole house down. Of course, Donald Trump is not exactly the kind of person to see a punch coming and just quietly take it. He has a black belt in fighting back on social media. His response was swift, and it was pure uncut Trump. He immediately fired back, calling Musk crazy and the man who has lost his mind. All caps, of course, because that's how you know he's serious. He made it clear he wouldn't even consider speaking to Musk, dismissing any chance of making up. It was the political equivalent of "we are never, ever, ever getting back together." Trump was shutting the door, locking it, and throwing away the key. And then came the threats, because a Trump response isn't complete without them. He threatened to go after Musk's businesses, specifically mentioning the government contracts and subsidies that companies like SpaceX and Tesla rely on. This is a massive threat. SpaceX literally sends NASA astronauts to space. Trump was basically threatening to ground America's space program to win a Twitter fight. As a final symbolic gesture, he announced he was getting rid of the red Tesla he had bought. He was either going to sell it or just give it away. It was the ultimate public unfriending, a clear message that the party was over, and Elon was no longer invited. Now, you might think this is just two very rich men having a slap fight online, but when these two fight, things in the real world start to shake. The economy, for one, felt the tremors almost immediately. On June 5th, as this feud exploded, Elon Musk's personal fortune took a massive hit. dropping by an insane $33 billion in a single day. I don't even know how that's possible. That's like losing the entire economy of a small country because you got angry on the internet. It just goes to show you that a few spicy tweets can be very, very expensive when you're a billionaire. It wasn't just Musk's personal wallet that was hurting. His companies felt the pain too. Tesla's stock price plummeted by 14.2%, which wiped out about $152 billion in the company's value. That's not just a dip, that's a nosedive, all because the CEO decided to pick a fight with the most powerful man in the country. The stock did bounce back a little the next day, but the message was clear: this feud was bad for business. It also created a massive headache for the US government. Musk briefly threatened to decommission the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft, the only American vehicle that can take astronauts to the International Space Station. He quickly took it back, but for a moment, it seemed like he was willing to hold NASA hostage. The political world naturally went into a frenzy. Everyone had to pick a side. The White House tried to play it cool. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt framed it as just Elon being salty because his pet policies weren't in the one big beautiful bill. Chief of Staff Susie Wiles stated flatly that there were no plans for a call between Trump and Musk. Meanwhile, Vice President J.D. Vance posted his unwavering support for Trump, carefully avoiding mentioning Musk by name. And then you had people like Steve Bannon, Trump's former advisor, who went to the extreme, suggesting that Musk, who is a naturalized US citizen, should be deported. Even Musk's own family got dragged into it. His father, Elon Musk, came out and basically told his son to calm down and let the fight fizzle out, saying Elon was under a great deal of stress. It's the billionaire equivalent of your mom telling you to get off the computer and go outside for some fresh air. Even Bill Ackman, a hedge fund manager, tried to play peacemaker and get them to hug it out, but the White House wasn't interested. This wasn't just a personal spat anymore. It had become a political crisis with real-world consequences, affecting everything from space travel to international relations, since Musk's Starlink is still vital for Ukraine. So where does all of this leave us? As of today, June 7, 2025, the dust hasn't settled. The two men are still in their respective corners, and there's no sign of a truce. The olive branch that Musk might have offered has been swatted away. This feud has fundamentally changed the political landscape. Musk, once a kingmaker in the Republican Party, has now become one of its loudest critics. He burned his bridges not just with a match, but with a SpaceX flamethrower. This leaves a massive power vacuum and a whole lot of questions about who will fill the role of the tech billionaire whisperer in Trump's ear now. Perhaps the most interesting twist to come out of this whole mess is Musk's next potential move. He didn't just burn his bridges with Trump, he seems ready to build a new one. He floated the idea of starting a new political party, one that he claims would actually represent the 80% in the middle. This is a classic Elon Musk move. If you don't like the existing system, just build your own. Whether he's serious or just thinking out loud, the idea itself is powerful. Could a third party, bankrolled by one of the richest men in the world, actually disrupt the two-party system in America? Maybe in time for the 2026 midterm elections? This whole episode serves as a wild reminder of how much power is concentrated in the hands of a few individuals. The whims of two men can rattle stock markets, threaten national security, and potentially reshape politics. Their supporters are now caught in the middle, forced to choose between the political leader they voted for and the tech icon they admired. The MAGA forums and the Tesla fan groups must be very confusing places right now. This feud has fractured alliances and shown that personal loyalty, especially at this level, can be incredibly fragile. It's a messy, high-stakes drama that is far from over. What happens next is anyone's guess. Will Trump follow through on his threats against Musk's companies? Will Musk actually try to launch a new political movement? Or will they both find a new enemy to focus on and quietly forget this whole thing ever happened? Right now, it seems unlikely. This feels personal. The attacks were too sharp, the accusations too severe. We are likely in for a long, drawn-out conflict between two of the world's biggest and most unpredictable personalities. So grab your popcorn, because this show is just getting started, and the next season is guaranteed to be even crazier than the last.